Welcome back. Yesterday, the patrons of Alexis y Os Amigos Festival at Fundação Orient attentively listened to a talk on 10 all-time Goan best-selling books by Padma Shri Norma Alvarez and Lourdes Rodriguez.
The evening started with Lourdes Rodriguez identifying various books by Goan authors that she would recommend to the audience to read. Starting with historical books on Goa, the first book she spoke about was an archaeological sketch of the cities of Goa, which portrayed Goa since the 19th century, which was prepared for the Bombay Gazetteer and was out of stock for many years.
Speak of the city of Goa, but also of Goa in general, and the past of Goa before the Portuguese came, the Portuguese period, and it gives an insight of what Goa was.
Then she spoke about another book titled Dominic's Goa by Dominic, and Remembering Goa, authored by her, which tells about the life in Goa.
He's a little older to me, so he has a different viewpoint. He lived in a village, I lived in the city. So it's the city, the Pangam city, the Goa, the Pangam of Esther years as seen by me in Remembering Goa, and Anjuna by Dominic here. And of course Aurora goes beyond Goa because she lived also in Darwar when she studied over there, and she speaks about Lotuli and Margaon and those areas. And of course hers is much more detailed than in the entire perspective than I think differentiating a little bit. When I would say his details also are there in the perspective that he wrote. My details are also there in the perspective I wrote a particular article. Now if I'm writing about the ferry crossing, I have also told the details while crossing the ferry, what happened, how we bought a ticket, how the branches were put, you know, and that's English word for the wooden plank, sorry, for the plank, that how they put once the ferry reached, how we used to rush to get out or getting in. But there was discipline in those days when we used to get in and get out. Nobody got in, the people did not get in unless the vehicles got in. And the vehicles did not get out unless the people got out. So, you know, those kinds of details are given in the book.
Another Goan bestseller she recommended under historical section was Walking in and Around Panjim, which gives a brief description of Panjim and snapshots of Indo-Portuguese history.
All about the houses, the architecture of Panjim, and a brief description of those houses that are enlisted or rather projected in that book.
Lourdes later moved on from books on history to books on Goan culinary and recommended the book by Joyce, which deals with almost every Goan dish, followed by the essential Goan cookbook, book on Saraswati cuisine, traditional taste of Goa, and thirsty Goan morsels, which is written by her and explained what it consisted of.
I would say that the book is referred to, I checked in the rare book section, because I've got essays on Goan culinary, which other books, if you agree with me, which other books do not have. And basically I did the book because I wanted the academics to come out and not the food part of it. I started writing on food, and then I said I have to do something. And I said if I do something, a book, an academic book only on food, the people will not buy. Then I will not be able to recover what my inputs of the money that I want to spend on having the book. And I had the two sections for the book. One was the essays and the second was on it.
She further went on to speak about books on literature, which are very informative about various aspects of Goa. The books she spoke about were Ferry Crossing, Sorrowing Lies My Land, Tivolim, and How to Be an Instant Goan.
People who come for literature, we try to, especially when people outside Goa, they come and they want to know, we always refer to Tivolim or Ferry Crossing, because it shows the soul of Goa, and people can understand through these books about Goa. And there are of course other writers coming also. There is Savia Viegas, I think. She's also come out with a book. There are some people coming with some short stories, and I feel more people should get involved. By the way, my friend there, Valentin, will be quite annoyed with me. Yeah, how to be an instant Goan. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, we can have a good laugh with his book.
Speaking on 10 bestseller books of Goa was Padma Shri Norma Alvarez. She started by explaining what makes a book a bestseller.
Now, what's the criteria for popular? I was contemplating. One is number of copies that sell. Another is amount of money it brings in, because that's a good criteria also. But amount of money is not exactly the criteria, and number of books, if they are very low priced, then you would have guides which would be the most popular. So I have tried to look at the nature of the book, the content of the book, and how well and the long-standing selling ability of the book to come out with my list of 10 popular books, many of which are on Maria's list also.
The first book she picked was called Goa Remembered by Angelo Pereira.
It's a book I would recommend to anyone who came to the bookshop, whether they were from Goa, old Goa, living abroad, wherever. I would say, take this book. It tells you about Goa, what it was. This book has gone out of print. Angelo's daughter came the other day and she just gave me 2 or 3 copies. She says, since you always ask for this book, I brought you a few copies, but this is out of print.
The next talked about book was Dominic's Goa, which was also recommended by Lutz Rodrigues, both which are classified in the contemporary section.
Konkani words, the right words in the right place. It's very colloquial and it is very, very evocative of them days gone by. One thing more is that the book doesn't just romanticize Goa. It tells you how it was, it tells you the drawbacks, it tells you the hardships, it tells you how things have progressed now, but it tells you what it was like to live in those days when Dominic was young and when he was in Goa, and when he tells you about how things were, no transport, how you went for a holiday walking to the beach and you took your lunch and you waited there and you came home and whatever.
Then in the literature section, she again recommended the volume And Sorrowing Lies My Land.
And is about it's a